Tomorrow, the only show right now on Indian television where you, the MSME, get center stage to voice your opinions and thoughts. This is ET-Now's special daily initiative to give MSMEs and entrepreneurs like yourself the opportunity to be front and center in every industry and area that matters to you. On Influencer tonight, we're bringing you a conversation with Nirmal Lifestyle, and on Leader Focus, we bring you a conversation on the real estate space. Thank you very much for speaking with us here on the Leaders of Tomorrow. Let me start by talking about all the changes that are happening in the real estate space. You are really in the hot seat, whether it is GST, whether it's RERA. How's life really going to change going forward?
So, we have a joke going in real estate circles right now. So, there was before Christ and after Christ, and we are saying it is before RERA and after RERA. So, life for real estate is going to change and for the better in a lot of ways. Clearly, the pendulum in terms of real estate has been swinging. Wrongly, it was entirely in favor of the developer, and a lot of balance is coming in. So, I would say a lot of things are only welcome. So, huge amount of changes are going to happen. So, for one, every person will have to reorganize their business processes. Everything, the way we've been doing all these years, is going to change. So, there's no two ways of looking at it. But as I said, there will be a lot of balance towards the side of the customer as well. Our own feeling is that there has been a huge pent up in the market for the last 3 or 4 years.
Why is that?
Because what was happening was that I think with so many changes happening, people have been, real estate people need to realize is, again we keep saying that after marriage, the second most important decision that you take in your life is buying a home. So, it is a huge decision, a very big decision for the family, a huge financial decision. And with so many changes happening, somewhere people are holding on to that decision. What is going to happen is that post-RERA, a customer will feel safe that, okay, so now, I have adequate protection. So, we do feel that he is going to come back into the market. And because of RERA, volumes are going to go down at least temporarily. So both put together, I don't really want prices to spike. I want demand to come back. That's what I think is required for generally the sector and the economy. And that's what we are hoping that will happen.
Okay. And where are you expecting that the majority of the demand will come in? Will it be affordable housing? Will it be high-end homes, or across the board?
So clearly the thrust of the government is on affordable housing. Yeah. There's no two doubts of it. And rightfully, it's a segment where the maximum pie is, and very few people are catering to that pie. So, the good thing is there is focus on real estate, and more particularly on the affordable housing segment. And so, today you have infrastructure status for affordable housing, you have concessional loans available, there is a benefit on the tax structure that you will be charged on. So, all in all, I think every player is looking at affordable housing. And so, there is going to be a huge amount of demand that will come in as far as the affordable housing segment is concerned. And normally the ripple effect comes on the other segments also. So, we are expecting that demand will come in all segments. Definitely, there will be a huge demand in affordable housing segment as well.
Okay. So, affordable housing then, already the real estate market is so competitive. You already have really small players who are competing with the larger players. And then to top it all, you have affordable housing. And if you're saying that you're going to see a lot of interest and demand coming in there, what is your one advice to the viewers of our show about how they should be able to, sort of stand this competition?
So, as far as the developer is concerned, I think it is critical to realize that going forward, business is not going to happen the way it used to happen. So, everybody will have to relook at their organizations, will have to reprogram their working, and very, very clearly look at all segments. I think all of us predominantly have looked at the luxury segment. I think we'll have to split our portfolios into various asset classes. So, every person who has a decent scale will have to look at affordable housing as one of the segments that he wants to look at. Obviously, will continue to do luxury, look at what other revenues are there. Sooner or later, I feel the rental market will kick in, and you will be able to do with REITs coming in, rental housing as well. So, there will be different segments available, and I think every developer should look at hedging his risk and operate in multiple asset classes to the best of his ability and the best of the market that he is catering to.
Okay, so I was just coming to that. So, for an MSME, would you advise that they possibly look at diversifying, not just do one segment of the market like you are saying, but look at multiple segments, and if yes, how can they do that? Would you suggest maybe tie up with a larger player?
So, for the next 2 years, just complete whatever you have on hand. Thereon, I think people who have landmarks definitely make sense that you create synergies, and wherever synergies are possible, get in partners. I don't think there is anything wrong with it. But again, the key is that you have to be in all asset classes, and once you do that, you are giving yourself the best chance.
What about pricing? Can customers expect that there will be a cut in prices going forward? What's your expectation?
That's a $1 million question, right? It's one thing that I don't think anybody really can get it right. The way again we are seeing it, that volumes are going to come down for the next couple of years, because people will have to reorganize their businesses. Demand will come back. This Diwali, I am expecting demand to be back in a big way. However, with the pent up that is there, in the next 6 months or so, I do expect the spiral to be on the upward rather than downward.
Okay. So, speaking of money, then one part of course is prices, the other is funding. NPAs had touched about a decade high until very recently. Have things started changing on the ground? How are you as developers and as real estate majors, how are you seeing the way the NPA situation is panning out? Are banks lending?
So, the long term, we need to take assessment over the last 10 years. If you'll see, RBI keeps coming out with these sectoral analysis on how different sectors are behaving, and real estate has been one amongst the better ones rather than the ones that has not performed. So clearly, because we are asset backed, there is always a solution in real estate. From time to time there can be liquidity issues, but generally in real estate you will see that solutions are there because assets are there. So long term, we've always said that we continuously interact with various banks and also RBI from time to time, and we've been requesting them that it is critical that the risk weightage on real estate should reduce, because if you will see sectorally, it's amongst the safest sectors in the lending hemisphere. So it is important that we are given a credit, and affordable lending is available to this sector, which again will go a long way in providing affordable homes.
Okay, but what about interest rates? How they've been panning out, and are you expecting any change in interest rates?
So the good thing is, again, when you will see interest rate over the last year or so, the clear direction is on the downward side, and we expect that trend to continue over the next couple of years, where interest rates will either remain steady or keep going down. On home loans, we expect definitely reductions going further down. So if you're a home buyer, it's a great time to buy homes.
Okay. What about funding, when it comes to funding from large, whether it is VCs or Ps? Companies like yourself obviously stand a good chance. I don't know if you are in the market looking for funds, but I am trying to understand, how does a smaller player looking to raise funds, what are some of the best options in your opinion?
So today the good thing is, I don't think any good project is getting constrained by funding. I think ample money is available. There is money in the system, and a good project does get funding. Clearly, with so many changes happening, it takes a little longer than you would expect. But as I said, for a good project, I don't think funding is a constraint today. The key is in getting the permission process. So we've talked a lot about RERA. One of the long-standing demands that we've had with the government is also that clearly the permission process needs to be under the aegis of RERA. So if tomorrow the developer has put in every effort that he can, and if permissions are delayed, then the permission giving authorities also should be held accountable. That's been one of the long-standing demands, and once that happens, I think effectiveness of RERA will further dramatically increase.
Okay, I want to talk about USP. Now, you have a very clearly defined USP for yourself, where you have sports-oriented themes. What would your one piece of advice be for the viewers of our show about how to have this USP so that they are not, they're able to sort of create that niche for themselves?
So, I've always felt that every brand should have a language that it wants to speak. And again, when the language is coming out of the passions that you have in life, they are a lot more meaningful. And then it is not just a marketing exercise, it's generally a philosophy that you believe in, that you're trying to integrate with your work as well. I've been into fitness all my life, and good things that you know you should share. So last year we were the single largest contingent in the Mumbai Marathon. So more than 70% of my organization actually ran the marathon, and so it's been wonderful experience for Nirmal as a company. And as I said, long term, I've always felt that fitness is something that will, be an investment that will hold you good over and above even any other investment that you make. So you should invest in health and look after yourself.
Interesting. We talk a lot about HR policies on the Leaders of Tomorrow, and a lot of entrepreneurs who write to us say that we're a small company, we've hired X number of people, but they leave us within a year or two. Do you have any tricks? Is, sort of encouraging your employees to run one of the ways in which you're ensuring that kind of loyalty to the company, the kind of longevity that's required?
I think on the HR front, a lot of people get very technical about it. I've always felt that if you're accessible to your people, and every person working with you should have the confidence that if he has an issue, he can walk up to you and talk to you. Two, I think looking beyond just work, when you look at people and not just as people who are performing a duty, I think things become very simple. So in most companies where there is longevity, you will realize that where people look at a person as, the human being that he is, and obviously he'll have his needs, and at that time HR policies shouldn't come in the way, and whatever the need is, you should look at how you can, cater to that. But that apart, I think we are blessed. We have a wonderful, wonderful team, and so happy that whatever you are essentially is a collection of the people that you are. So whatever little we've done is only because of the team that we have.
As you're rounding this interview off, then what are some of the future plans that you can talk about?
Very exciting. So as Nirmal, we have about 10 million square feet under construction, and the entire plan is that over the next 2.5 years, we want to deliver this 10 million square feet that we have. We also have a lot of land banks available, and we will look at whatever we cannot get into over the next 3 to 5 years. We will look at getting in partnerships there as well. We're also working on the next phase of the mall, and it's a 1 million square feet mall, and on that day we want it to be the best mall in the country, and the plan is over the next 1.5 to 2 years to get the mall operational. And so really exciting times, and we're really looking forward to the next couple of years.
I wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Time for a break. When we come back, we'll feature Easy Lift, which is picking the brains of our expert on all things in the construction and realty industry. Do stay tuned. Here on the Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight Prateek Parekh, the founder of Easy Lift, is in conversation with Tejas Savla, advisor SME Consulting and co-founder of Contractor Universal, on the real estate and construction industry in this tete-a-tete. Take a look. Let's kick off this segment maybe by asking you very briefly to talk to our viewers about what you do.
Well, I am into manufacturing of lifts, passenger elevators, and we are into this manufacturing in Vasai. We are also dealing into various type of hydraulic equipments and material handling equipments.
Okay, so it's a very specific niche area that you're in, but you are definitely in an industry which is seeing so much happening. So let's start talking about some of the kind of regulation that we're seeing changing, and you have some questions for him.
Yeah, we have certain areas where need to be to be taken care. It's like in real estate, being a small company here and having a big competition around the clock, and there are many multinational companies which we need to compete, like Otis, Kone, it's like that. So one of the area what we need to understand from real estate is how much they are supportive to the companies like us, where they can give us the backup where we can supply them a quantity of lifts and elevators.
So competition essentially, and in
Yes.
your industry that you're in, it's specifically competition which is coming from a larger player. So maybe we can address that and then talk about also an industry view about how smaller players can compete with larger players.
I think to address the question, I guess almost every smaller company or say a medium-sized enterprise, be it into manufacturing or any other sector, they generally have this hesitation in mind or this mental block as in how do we compete with the larger players. And in this space, as of today's world, it is very essential that people understand the power of online marketing or digital marketing. Being from the real estate sector, we do indulge in fact almost all the big real estate developers, builders, etc. they do indulge in some kind of online marketing or digital marketing, so they understand the power of it. So even if there is an existing bigger brand, still they resort to digital marketing. So one bigger solution for such smaller players is to keep up the quality of their products, compete with regards to pricing, and secondly is being visible. And the only way you can create visibility at a lower cost or at an affordable cost is by switching to digital marketing.
Fair enough. Maybe I should ask you, what are you doing right now when it comes to competition?
Well, the pricing is one of the factor where we compete, where we need to lower the price to the big competitors like that. Even the quality, and one of the sector where we pitch in is like the service. It's like, because the more better service you give, the more there are chances that we get the order. It's like for the marketing, yes, obvious, we have our own websites and we promote to the various platform like on Facebook, Twitter, even in LinkedIn, where we approach where people have general presences there. So there are things where we promote ourselves and to come into the competitions.
You're talking about orders, for example, and that brings to mind that a lot of the MSMEs who come on our show say, is there any way of ensuring that our larger clients, our larger vendors can be, ensure that they pay you on time? Have you had any such issues?
Yes, that is one of the core issues generally in our industry we face regards to the real estate. Is like that the payment it's never on time, or else if it is either they delay the payment or we don't get the payment on time. So the margin what we operate is almost washed out if it is delayed. Like, so that is also one of the very core issues where we need to deal with the real estate people. So that is what we are looking for.
What would you have to say?
I would say, see, payment as such, yes, you would see the real estate lobby. I mean, over there have been issues raised in the past as well with regards to payment, not just to say vendors or partners, but also accepting payments from buyers, from direct end buyers who want to buy homes or office spaces, etc. So there has been a lot of, you can say, hue and cry created about it, because of which the government has taken some actions, and we have come up with the RERA Act. So the real estate regulatory authority thing. So within 3 months time, we would have almost all the states act upon this regulation, get regulatory authorities set up for every state and union territory in India, within which there are a whole set of rules and regulations that they have to follow, apart from one key rule and regulation, which is with regards to payments.
Let me ask you, in fact, what are your thoughts on GST and RERA and how that's going to change things for your industry? What are your peers telling you?
GST is the biggest boost to the economy as well as in our industry, where our projection is very good in the sales. It's like that because our vendors are very much happy, even our customers would be happy. Being the taxation would be very much very simplified in a way, and even the small vendors of us will be taking the advantage of GST. Currently they do not take, because the product what we buy is under excise duty and VAT. So excise duty is no way they can claim. It's like that. So nowadays if GST is pitching, then definitely they would be on advantage, and margins will be cut short. It's like that. So it is in competition market we can get better orders, and we can boost the sale where even we can compete to the bigger players, where we can show them, because the vendors what we get, there's a margin is lower, then we can also cut short our margins.
Okay, so if you're saying that margins obviously are going to become more favorable for MSMEs, but is this also going to mean that perhaps it will make the playing field even more leveled, and therefore it will bring down the margins even for a larger player, and therefore competition is going to get more? I mean, that's just a thought, right?
Yes, it would even out the competition within the industry. So when a smaller real estate player is competing with a larger player, it would even out, it would bring out a level playing field between them. But from the perspective of end consumers or end investor who is looking to invest in an office space or in a house, there won't be a significant impact on the prices. If the people are hoping that RERA will result in reduction of prices on an immediate basis, then the only advice is that you wait and watch.
And see what happens.
And see, and let the smaller players bring more attractive prices for you, rather than waiting for the larger players to bring down the prices. So that's.
So if a common man asks you a question, it's like that whether it is the right time to invest in this and without any fear, because many a times in past we had a bad experience, like booking a flat and getting after years and years to wait. So do you think that it is the time has ripe to have an investment?
Like, even though being an expert, a few people will say this is the right time or wait for 6 months, 10 months. But the fact is that it is very difficult to find the bottom level. So it's like you say that you don't do bottom fishing. There is no apt time to buy a house, but with certain policies like the RERA coming into picture, with GST coming into picture, with the demonetization impact, the ideal time, according to me and according to the statistics that have been shared within the real estate industry, is wait for another 5, 6 months, 10 months time, and the impact of we have to consider one by one. So if you consider the demonetization effect, the direct impact is that banks are going to, in fact they have already started reducing the home loan interest rates and prices.
But the flip side to that is because a lot of people are not buying homes because of demonetization, or prices are going to spike, which is probably good for you, right?
Yes. And another thing, what I have understood is area will be, it's a blessing in disguise. But the thing is that still, common people is not, they are reluctant to buy upfront their money, because builders are still finding the loopholes from the area. There are certain loopholes where, they want to catch those loopholes and they want to take the advantage of that. It's like that. So there are certain things where, people are still reluctant that, whether we should go or not. Okay. Like that.
That wraps up this episode of The Leaders of Tomorrow for tonight. If you have any questions about any aspect of your business, or if you feel you want to be featured here on the show, do write in at leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com. You can reach us on Twitter using the hashtag LOT, or tweet at me personally at Sunanda_J. Reach us on Facebook on our Facebook page, Leaders of Tomorrow, on ET Now, or call us on that number you see on your screen. We'd love to have you and your thoughts and opinions on the show. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.